Welcome to Season 4 of You're Not Alone with Townsend. On this podcast, I'll be sitting down with guests from all over the world to discuss everything under the umbrella of mental health, diagnoses, sharing stories of resilience, medical advice, and even getting some tips and tricks from licensed counselors. The goal of this podcast is to teach us how to understand others, ourselves, and help spread love and light, one episode at a time. Please make sure to like and follow this podcast, and if you'd like to see the videos of these conversations, hop on over to my YouTube channel, TownsendTmusic YouTube, where you can find the podcast and my latest music. This podcast is run solely by supporters and listeners just like you. So if you'd like to help keep this podcast and project going, please consider hopping on patreon.com/TownsendTmusic to be part of the team. You'll also find extra content and questions with each and every guest. Let's hop in. What is up, guys? Welcome to this episode of You're Not Alone with Townsend. Super excited today. So I met this person, I guess a few weeks ago. I've been playing a gig. I had the opportunity to meet her. Super cool, like incredibly artistic, super talented. And she was brave enough to be like, hey, also, I have a diagnosis of autism. And so we kind of started talking about that. And I was like, this will be perfect for the podcast. So today we're going to be chit-chatting about autism with my friend Lux. Lux, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
It is such a pleasure. Okay. I always like to start with my guests kind of introducing themselves. So who is Lux? Like your job, your location, whatever you want people to know about you.
Well, hi. Hi, I'm Lux, but for the sake of the interview, my name is also DJ. It's like a little cute nickname my friends have for me. And I'm 23. I know people think I'm like 18. I'm just like, thanks, but also shut up.
You age right. It's good genetics. You do look super
exactly. Young. But yeah, I currently just work at an entertainment place that Townsend has been performing at, which is really awesome. But soon I'll be moving and starting a whole new job there, going back to school and everything. So I got a lot of changes happening later and later, which is fantastic. And yeah, like she said, I do a lot of art on the side, and like I do like a lot of my voice. I sometimes like to record music, and I also do some voice acting as well. A lot of my voice, just anything really creative I can do with my hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that reminded me when I saw you at work that one night. So she was over there like drawing while I'm performing, and so I asked to see her sketchbook. And it looked like, all jokes aside, looked like you traced it and colored it in. Like, it's perfect. So it's so cool. Super talented. But I would like to, when we get to the patron questions, we're going to hop into her art. But that's like a little something, a little something special if you hop onto that. But yes, amazingly talented. But Lux, I kind of wanted to talk to you about growing up with autism. It's something I feel like everyone has heard of. It's become more and more relevant, more and more, I guess people are talking about it more, really. So what is autism? How would you describe it?
Well, the official term for it is called autism spectrum disorder, so ASD. And it's really mostly around development. Like it's how you it affects how you perceive things, but especially when it comes to like learning and how to be social, but it also can affect your own body physically. And it's really weird, but it's just mostly a development disability, like an oversensitivity, or you just don't have, it's kind of like mismatched wires in a sense.
Mismatch,
That's
yeah.
how I describe it.
Yeah. And sometimes it can go hand in hand with things like ADHD and things like neurodivergent is what a lot of people call ADHD.
Yeah, there have been some people that have been diagnosed with both in a sense, because what I like to think that ADHD like pulls you out because it wants you to like do all these things, you go from one thing to the next, but autism is always like pulls you in, like you're just like, I just want to be in my shell, just want to do the same thing or just sit here. Like,
yeah. So does change, like you're talking about earlier, you have a ton of changes coming up. Does that make you nervous? Is that hard?
Oh, yeah. One common thing people know about autistic people is that when it comes to certain changes, it can be very hard. We can take it in very we have to take it in like small doses. So when you like when something immediately changes, like life changing out of nowhere, will crash, and
Yeah.
it's not great. But this is a good change for me because I've been in the same location for about 23 years, my whole life. So the fact that I'm moving and basically having this next chapter, it's terrifying, but it's also like it's that but that's the thing about an adventure is like you got to take the good with the bad with it, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. Do you feel like routine has been really important for you?
Oh yeah, like I'm not the best at keeping up with exact like routine,
Yeah.
but yeah, with a lot of people that same thing comes to change. Like if they have a set routine and something happens, even the smallest things, and this has happened to me too. Like I'll plan stuff out throughout the day, but if something happens where I can't either do it anymore or like it's not turning out the way I want, that'll mess up my mood like pretty bad.
Yeah.
And that can be more people can have that more severe than others. But that's a real thing is like we hate when things change out of nowhere because
Absolutely. Who
it
does?
feels like
I
we
mean,
don't.
yeah, who's excited about change, man? Well, speaking of that, you were talking about how it could be more severe for other people. Are there different types of autism?
Yeah, and that absolutely. That's why it's on a spectrum. It's like a scale of like 1 to 10. I've had professional psychologists in my adult life like tell me that if they were to put me on that scale, they put me on like a 2 or a 3, which like you wouldn't be able to tell right away if I had autism or not. But when you get to know me a lot more, then you start to notice. I actually had a coworker at that same job I'm at right now. They noticed I was being like more a bit extra because that happens. And I said like, I'm sorry, I'm autistic. It happens. I apologize. He's like, never mind. Never mind. What do you mean? He's like, I thought you had Tourette's.
You're like, well, thanks, but no.
Well, I mean, no, I don't. But yeah, there are definitely different types. Like, that's what the whole spectrum is for. It helps like measure out like how severe is it? What can we do to help make it easier for them to grow and to be functional? Like, and it's a lot harder to do when you're already of age. That's why I always recommend parents to like, if you think that something is going on or if your kid is struggling, or if you just notice anything, I think it's never bad to get your kid like diagnosed by a professional because that way you know how to help them growing up. That's something I always appreciated my parents for is that they put me through those programs both in and out of school, and that if I didn't have those, if they were in denial, which a lot of parents are unfortunately, then I wouldn't be able to live by myself or let alone move out of state or
Right.
anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of types, you know, and
Yeah. I feel that was one thing I was blown away with you. I've met a lot of people with this diagnosis, and it can affect, like I said, how you function daily. So it can affect how you eat, how you think, how you communicate, how you understand social cues,
yeah.
things like that. I've met people with autism on the more severe spectrum, and we actually
Hmm.
we discussed it on this podcast. They were more severe. They could express some wants and needs, but needed a lot of help. For you, I was blown away by how well spoken you are and
Yeah.
just how open you are. So really cool. Is is autism genetic or hereditary?
From what I know personally, I don't exactly know if it is genetic or not because looking at my history of of my family, yes, mental illness runs in the family, but autism's not one of them. I like to think of it as more of like a like lack of a better term, birth defect. It's like how anyone who is born can be missing a finger or missing a limb or just be born just they're just born that way. Like
Yeah.
it's something that we can't help. It is a chance of it happening like
Yeah.
to anybody,
Yeah. Do
whether
you know
it's genetic or not, but
do you know how common it is, speaking of chances?
Um, I personally don't know how common it is, but I do know that people are coming out with it, whether they are diagnosed when they're young or when they're older. Because I think we're at a point, which gratefully we are, we're at a point where like, okay, there's nothing wrong with figuring out yourself and seeing what you can do to help, see how you can do to help thrive.
Yeah.
Like it's not much of like, oh, mental illness is not real. Like it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, no, it's treated a lot more seriously
Absolutely. I
and
do
with more
think
with
people,
compassion.
yes, which is amazing. And I do think you're totally right. I think people are learning more about autism and what it is. And, not that long ago, I don't know if you know this, but not that long ago. I mean, crazy, crazy. Anyone with a severe type of mental health, let's say autism or Down syndrome, they would ship them off to like this building with all of the kids in the same building and just keep them there. And so they were almost out of sight, out of mind. And so now
Mm-mm.
that we're learning more about it and we're talking more about it, and like you said, showing more grace and more love towards it, it's becoming more common, of course. I think the most recent study is something about 1 in like 45-ish kids have an autistic or an autism diagnosis, which is extremely common. And some people will argue it's the food, it's becoming more common. Some people will argue that no, we just know more about it, right? We can put a name to it, but who really knows? What are some of the symptoms of autism? We kind of talked about a couple earlier, but
Yeah.
Now, a quick shout out to our sponsors.
if you're looking to buy or sell, I have the perfect realty company for you. Clark & Co. Realty is located in the Benton, Bryant, Arkansas area, and they understand that buying or selling a home is more than just a transaction. It's a life-changing experience. That's why their team of highly seasoned real estate professionals is dedicated to providing exceptional, personalized services for all their clients. They truly take great pride in the relationships they build, and they always work relentlessly on the client's behalf to help them achieve their perfect real estate goals. They always have the client in mind, and I can speak firsthand when I say how reliable, trustworthy, and quick they were. When I was looking to buy my first home, they were there with me every step of the way, answering every question I could think of. They showed me a great amount of knowledge and patience through the process. It's no wonder they've won so many awards for their outstanding services and their excellent relationships with clients. So if you're looking to buy or sell, there is no better option than Clark & Co. Realty.
Like I said, the symptoms are like most commonly people know it for like not understanding social cues. Like it happens with me a lot. I grew up with two brothers. I'm the oldest of two, and they love to push my buttons. Like my friends do too. Like they call me like, what is it? I have a short fuse sometimes. Not seriously, but it does happen, especially when I was younger. It's because I couldn't understand whether they were joking or not. Because unless I've known you for a long time and I know that you're joking, if you were to make jokes at me like that, I'm just like, are you being serious? And I get mad. But my brothers, again, they know how to push your buttons. Like
That's
they'll
right.
do that all the time. And I just get so angry so easily. But yeah, like not understanding social cues is one of them. Whether it could be a joke or like say someone's sad and how to you don't know how to talk to somebody like that because you
Yeah.
legit don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, social cues. And then as people will probably notice it with me sometimes, I don't always look at people in their eyes. Like eye contact is definitely a hard one. Like if I'm looking at your face, I'm probably not looking at your eyes. I'm probably looking at the thing behind you. Like I'm currently looking at your drum set behind you.
At least you're being honest, yeah?
Yeah, no, because that happens. And it's not like I'm not listening. I am, and I'm not being rude. I sometimes can't hold eye contact sometimes, and that's okay. Like I mentioned, like it does sometimes affect our bodies. So in that case, sensitivity is one of them. When it comes to food and especially textures is a huge one. Like I can't wear certain clothes because of how it feels. So when I go to shopping for clothes, that is the first thing I'm feeling is the texture. Like, do I like it? Do I think it's comfortable? If I don't, bye.
Yeah.
Silk, especially. I don't like that shiny silk, and I don't like clothes that, especially shirts that like tug on my body. Like when I'm wearing t-shirts and stuff, I don't like it because it's cutting on my neck, I feel like. Like,
Yeah.
so when I have to wear a t-shirt for my job, I'm just like, I keep trying to pull it down.
Yeah. You're like stretching it out.
Exactly. If I could cut it, I would, but I can't.
Get you a little V-neck going on.
Exactly. I love V-necks, honestly.
Yeah.
So my dad would always buy me t-shirts because he knows I like the stuff that's on the t-shirt, but I don't. Yeah.
Oh, he
That's why
tried.
I never told him.
Oh no, here he is. He's gonna listen to this and be like, "Oh no, all
Probably,
those
yeah.
t-shirts."
Love you, Dad.
That is so funny. So the social cue, looking people in the eye, that's an incredibly common one.
Mm-hmm.
People that have this diagnosis say it's hard to keep eye contact. I had someone tell me it's actually painful for them to try to keep eye contact with your eyes. Is that true for
Yes.
you?
I never thought of it like that, but like, yes, it doesn't physically hurt us, but like it's scary. Like I can't explain it, but it's scary to sometimes look at people in the face. I don't know. Again, for me, I don't know why it's really scary, but I know I don't like it. But I mean, I try,
Yeah.
but then I'll end up pulling away at like a couple seconds later.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
But again, it's not us being rude. It's us just like, your eyeballs are scary, I guess. I don't know.
I'm scared of your eyeballs. Hey, listen, absolutely.
So bright.
Yeah. And I mean, you paid attention. Great. Our conversation was not affected by that whatsoever.
No.
Like I said, totally blown away by your social skills, really. Speaking of that, did you have to go through different types of therapy growing up? Like to help
yeah.
on. Yeah. Tell us about that. Did you find them helpful?
So my mom, when I was little, right? My mom legit thought I was deaf, and a lot of kids who have autism are actually mistaken for being deaf. It's an attention span too. Like one of the symptoms we talked earlier, I didn't get to mention this, but it's also our attention span. We can get so hyper focused on something, literally everything disappears. Like we don't know. So that's why when people call my name, it takes them a few times to get my attention. I'm like, what?
Interesting. Okay.
So like my mom thought I was deaf as a baby because she would call my name, like Lux, like what you doing, sweetheart? And I'm nothing. So she took me to the doctor. They found out I'm not deaf. They found out I was autistic. And then like she's like, okay, what can we do? So throughout most of my childhood, I never understood because kids, you're going to a place, but I mean, it's not bad. I had to go to therapy, psychologist. I had to be pulled out of classes as well to be taught independently. Sometimes it'll be another person, but most of the time it's just me and another person. I still remember every single teacher I worked with from not preschool, kindergarten to I think I stopped what was it? I want to say my 8th grade year is when they stopped pulling me out of class.
Wow.
And a lot of medication, some medications work as well. Like I can't remember exactly what I took, but sometimes they help. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. That's the thing about medication that happens. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I didn't go to those like therapy sessions, both like go group sessions and then just independently, I wouldn't be able to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Or have the friends that I have. Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the things you remember more? Like, was it mostly speech therapy to work on those social cues?
Yes, I had to work on my speech, and then I wish I worked more on reading because my reading skills are still not as great as they should be, but that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was mostly just like social skills. So sometimes we act like I think role play and stuff like that and like other things. And they had a special way of teaching me because with autistic people we learn best by like doing things, like getting our hands on it, and also with pictures. Pictures help a lot. That's why I like reading manga so much.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at pictures. I suck at reading, but
I love it.
no, I remember working with a woman. Her name was like Miss Jamie, and she I think definitely had like one of the biggest impacts when it came to stuff like that, especially when I was a kid. Because again, pulling me out of class just to teach me independently and help me learn how to talk to people, like that is a huge thing. I wouldn't be able to have the friends that I had growing up, especially the friends I have now. Shout out to the fellers, by the way. Without learning all that stuff. Like, so Miss Jamie, love you a lot. I actually have a guinea pig right next to me. Her name is Jamie.
Oh, I love it. So you found therapy to be helpful, yeah?
Oh yeah, I think therapy is good for everybody, and I hate that some people think that therapy is like a waste of time, or they think they're crazy. You're not you're not crazy.
Thank you. You can like, say that again. Yeah.
Yes. No one thinks you're crazy. They just think that you need to talk to someone who has studied and trained to help you help guide you through life. They can't solve your problems. they can tell you what to do, but you got to be the one to like initiate that.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's the thing about it. It's like a I work with you, you work with me.
Yeah.
Like again, you're not crazy, or there's nothing wrong with you. It's just to help you.
I
Like
love it.
yeah,
Yeah. I
exactly.
love it. When you were growing up, did you have to get like physical therapy or occupational therapy? Or were you, yeah?
Kind of, yeah. Like I was put into a special group actually of kids who also had disabilities like mine, and I feel like that helped a lot because again, it's that you're having to be social with them, and it actually helps out a lot. But physical therapy, the only thing I had was like I have a lazy eye actually, and eye therapy wasn't much of a thing back then. But yeah, I remember going out of town like 2 hours out of town and like going to these doctors and they're like having me follow their fingers and have me read and I'm just like, why am I here?
What is this?
But yeah, I
Interesting.
actually still wear like correctional lenses because yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Very good. So, does autism, do you feel like it affected, you're talking about it affects your thinking,
Hmm.
developmental. Does it affect your muscle development? Like,
Hmm.
yeah?
It can. So one thing this is why my coworker thought I had Tourette's. So some autistic people, they'll have a thing called autistic tics. I actually got mine when I was in high school. So when an autistic person is so stressed out or like they have high energy, they'll like do some kind of motion or make certain sounds to like kind of help release that energy. There was a point where I was so stressed out, I kept like jerking my neck like that harshly that way to the point where I had like a sore
Oh,
in my
no.
neck for like 2 weeks. And people thought I was faking it. I'm like, no, I'm not faking this. I don't want this. It just happens. And it still sometimes happens to this day because sometimes, especially with my eye, like you'll see it sometimes twitching and that's not because I wanted to twitch. It just happens.
Yeah. Other people
And
call that stimming. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
stimming.
Like getting all that energy out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that
And so,
happens to us.
yeah.
So a lot of autism people, and unfortunately this can happen too, is that there are some people who, again, who need like assistance living that get so stressed out they actually do like hit themselves. And when I see that, I'm just like, man, that's terrible. Because
Yeah.
you should never hit yourself, but they physically sometimes cannot help that because they're so stressed out.
Yeah.
They want that stress out. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually also happened to me. Because when you're a teenager and you're trying to figure yourself out, and also I had a lot of family problems growing up, that would also happen.
Yeah.
I would also be hitting myself and like all that kind of nonsense. I'm good now, trust me. Like
Yeah.
I'm fine now.
Did
Like
you did you have to find like do you have to find ways to cope a little better? Like how did you go
yeah,
from harmful ways to just, the little ticks here and there? Like did someone have to teach you, okay, this is a harmful coping mechanism. Let's try maybe this way, or did you just gradually learn that?
I did go to a therapist about that and just like it was just mostly just a lot of like self-doubt because a
Yeah.
lot of people, especially when they're trying to learn who they are, they sometimes don't really like themselves. And that mixed with autism is like you're trying to understand yourself, but sometimes even that can be hard.
Wow. Yeah.
Like yeah, eventually I learned that actually that it's not okay. And how it really settled in is that unfortunately, I think like 2 years ago, I actually self-admitted myself to a hospital because I never did anything, but I could see it. And I knew that was not okay. So I figured out, I had to be like, okay, I need help
Yeah.
because I felt like I was at the lowest point of my life. So I stayed for like 5 days. I was supposed to be there for 8, but sadly, sometimes the healthcare system and how things are performed are not the greatest.
Yeah.
But I stayed there for like 5 days, and I had a lot. I had a lot of time to just think to myself because I didn't have no phone. I had nothing on me. I had a lot of time to just think and just be like, why do I hate myself? That's the thing. Like it's because like you're trying so hard to like help other people, but again, you physically can't understand everything, and you can't help everybody. you gotta learn you gotta learn to like learn about yourself and take care of yourself mostly. So
Yes.
that's something I definitely had to learn as well.
Yeah.
Because you want to, autistic people have like, they want to understand people, but sometimes it's just so hard.
Yeah.
But like, you really got to try to like understand yourself first. And
Yeah.
I understand that like, the things I did in my life, they weren't my fault. It's something I couldn't control. And that's okay. I can control what happens in my life. So
Yeah.
why should I hate myself for it?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. You're so brave to have, for real, to be able to understand, okay, I need more help than I'm able to give myself right now. Let me go to the hospital where professionals are. That's so brave. One. Two, I love that just at 23, I mean, people spend their whole lives trying to figure out what you just said. You can only control yourself. We're going to have good and bad days, and that's A-okay. So I love that. I love that you're figuring this out. You're such a cool person, which is why I
Thank
invited
you.
you on here. Absolutely. I hate that you went through that self-doubt, but sometimes our lowest of lows are literally when we become our best selves, right? You kind of
Exactly.
catapult from that. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like,
I love it.
where else can you go
That's
at that
right.
point? Where else can you go besides get back up again?
That's right.
Like, even now, I'm trying to reconnect with people who have done me what I say wrong, and just be like, that stuff happened. I can't change it, and I can't change this person,
Yeah.
but I still want them in my life. So I'm gonna do my best to like try to reconnect with them, and we can probably make up that step of like, here's my boundaries, and but do what you want, but I still care about you.
Yeah, I love it. Boundaries are important for sure. Make sure to
Absolutely.
set boundaries for yourself because
Yeah.
that can get unhealthy quickly. But yeah, I love it so much. What do we talked about therapy and things like that. I had a lot of people asking, is there a cure?
Unfortunately, no, there is no known set cure for autism. That's why I always tell parents, because I plan on I'm becoming one of those people that do help them. I plan to go to school for child psychology.
Cool.
Um, that's why I always encourage parents when they have kids is like, there is nothing wrong with getting your kid diagnosed, because if you catch it when they're young, you're able to come up with a plan and like figuring out how to help them develop going forward. Because then again, it has good results. Um, you should never take it as like an insult. Oh, you think there's something wrong with my child? I'm like, no, I think they need assistance. Like, I hate that people treat it as like a bad thing. I'm
Yeah,
like, no, it's not. It's someone looking out for your kid.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of
Yeah,
that, how would you say that autism has affected your life, the good and the bad? So like, what are some good things that autism has brought you?
that hyper focus, and
Yeah.
that we can get like really passionate about the things that we're interested in. Once we're locked in on something, we're like really passionate about it.
Yeah.
So, especially when it comes to like objects, like for me, I I have a habit of collecting like a lot of plushes. Like autistic people love plushies. It's because
Okay.
that, again, it's a texture thing.
Yeah. So like a sensory.
Mm-hmm.
I like
I
that.
have way too.
Yeah, wait. Hey, that's okay. You're a collector. That's what it is. A
Yeah,
collector.
no, I have way too many, but I love collecting plushes, and again, it's a hyper focus that like lets me do all these amazing things, like my art and everything. Sure, I slip every now and then, but like once I'm in something, I can't put it down.
That's so cool. I
Like it
have,
helps me get a lot of stuff done, honestly.
yeah, a lot of people I know with this diagnosis are almost like, you've probably not seen this movie, but The Rain Man, one particular subject they just excel at. Like I've met people that have autism, it's a superpower. Like a little bit with music, they're a guru with music. A little bit with math, they could do math in their head. I've met people with autism that know every person in sports in the history of sport. Like just crazy. You guys, if
Yeah,
it's used correctly, it's literally a superpower. So cool.
yeah, absolutely.
What would you
Um,
say? What would you say is the bad part of having autism? I know you named a couple earlier. What's one of the ones that sticks out to you as like, this is one thing I wish didn't go along with it?
Sometimes because of that sensitivity I mentioned earlier, it's not just with our bodies and it's also with our heads. I like to think that again, it's again that short fuse. We can get very overstimulated a lot more easily than I say regular people would. And sometimes it's hard to get out. It can be even harder to like get out of it.
Yeah.
Because like you're so and again it's a hyper focus. You're so focused on this bad feeling that you're having, it can mess up your entire day.
Yeah.
So that's why I say people with autism that also have depression, and anxiety, that can be a lot harder.
Yeah.
But like that's why I try to do like a lot more coping skills. Like I talk to friends and I like try to do like other things, like probably play a comforting game or like try to draw something or like just something that can possibly get my mind off it. It does take me a while to get out of that funk I'm in, but I get out and I'm just like, anyway.
Anyway, moving on.
Exactly. That can happen sometimes, but like, yeah. It's that oversensitivity, and it's hard for us to get out of that sad feeling.
Yeah.
Or that stress feeling a lot longer than I'd say like a regular person would.
Yeah. I've never thought about that before, but you're totally right. I mean, everyone has bad days, right? But imagine putting yourself like Lex was talking about, you got oversensitivity, you've got hyper focus, you're sensitive yourself, feeling wise, you can't hear anything, you can't understand other people's body language. That is so stressful. I'm almost stressed thinking about it, Lex. Golly.
Yeah, because like, and that's the thing, is like you think you know something, you learn all this stuff, you think you're finally there, and then like something happens next.
Right.
That's literally how I described my car the other day.
Yeah, that's so cool. So proud of you. Like I said, when I met you at my gig, like you blew me away, which is why I wanted to have you on the podcast. Just so cool, so talented. What's something you wish people knew about autism?
There's nothing wrong. We are, classic. Don't treat us as if we're like different. Just because we have like a different way of thinking things, like I personally think that people with autism can be like sometimes the nicest people you'll meet.
Yeah.
And we do have a lot to talk about. It's just hard for us to talk about it sometimes because we think, oh, that's probably weird. You probably don't want to hear about it. Like, no, like, I would just say like, have patience with us. Because sometimes it takes us a minute to like kind of warm up to people and like share our stories and like share our interest in everything, because we're worried about us being like treated as if we're like talked down to. I'm like, no, we're people too.
That's
like
right.
You should never talk down to someone just because they have a diagnosis.
That's
like
exactly right.
And just if you have autism or like you think you might, that doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. That just means like, you got another little quirk that you need to probably work out. You probably need to work out and understand. And once you understand it, and I think you got to take the good with the bad with anything you have. You gotta make room for it. Yeah. So I think you should never treat it as like I'm just a freaking weirdo. I'm like, I mean, I say I'm a weirdo, but I'm just like,
let's be for real, Lux. We're all weird. That's just kind of part of it.
We are in our own ways, exactly. But again, don't treat it as a bad thing.
I love the way you worded it. You just got an extra little quirk.
You got extra little
quirk. I like
that. And that's okay.
I think that's what I'm going with now. You just got extra little quirk, man. That's okay. That diagnosis is just a quirk.
You're a little quirky. That's okay.
That should be the definition of autism. I love that.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, speaking of this, this is the part I'm like extremely excited about. Lux and I are going to keep talking on Patreon. And I'd like to introduce her art. She's got something super cool that I'm just like so stoked to see myself. But she's going to do her model. It's cool. It's super cool. Trust me. We're going to do it on Patreon for the extras. But Lux, before we do that, tell people where they can find some of your art or some of your stuff.
I have, I mostly stream on Twitch. It's at twitch.tv/DJLux_VT. Hope you'll find out what that is if you do a Patreon or do my Twitch. But I also do have a YouTube channel. I have two, actually. One is, of course, the same thing, DJ Lux VT. But I'm also part of for people who, I'm gonna play into the jokes right now, but if you love Sonic the Hedgehog, you're also autistic.
Yes.
I'm part of a Sonic the Hedgehog project that me and my friend started almost 2 years ago. I'm a voice actor in there, and I'm also the co-host and background artist. So please go check us out over there. But yeah, just join me on Twitch, YouTube. I have a TikTok as well. But yeah, please go check me out.
Absolutely. Yeah, she was telling me about all this cool stuff and she showed me. I was blown away. So for sure, go check that out. Lux, thank you so much for doing the podcast with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on here.
It has been a pleasure. Absolutely. Okay, everybody listening, you know how this works. Me and Lux are going to keep talking for the patrons only, a little special extra questions that we do with each guest. If you want to see that, go over to patreon.com/TownsendTmusic. That's also how we keep the podcast and this project going. So hop over there, show some support. If not, we'll catch you next time.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this interview, visit patreon.com/TownsendTmusic. And don't forget, you can also watch the interviews on our YouTube channel at TownsendTmusic YouTube.